curiosity won. By the time he reached the back of the house and leaned over the sink to peer through the lighted glass of a kitchen window, there was nothing left for him to see. Perhaps a shadow had moved out near the cherry tree. He couldn't be sure. It might have been the wind, which had picked up in the last hour. He flipped on the porch light. The feeble light pushed back the darkness no more than 20 feet or so, but past the tree at least. If there had been someone out there, he was gone now. The wind whipped the tree's lower branches as if to taunt him. Whoever had entered his house had melted into the night. All he could make out beyond the dim pool of light from the porch were silhouettes of evergreens, black against a gray sky, and lighter gray splotches of forsythia blooms, bright yellow in daylight, and the long, very dense and dark hedge that bordered the northern edge of the yard. A movement over there. Was it possible that the shadow that caught the corner of his eye near the back of that hedge might have been his intruder? He couldn't be sure. Anyway, it had melted away almost the instant he'd swung his gaze toward it. He must be seeing things. Whether real or not, he could not say. Perhaps if he stepped outside he could see better. He reached for the doorknob but stopped his hand in midair. Fingerprints. There might be fingerprints. This would not be the first time he'd called the police about a break-in, and in the process he'd learned his lessons about crime scenes. And he did not want to confront anyone, armed or otherwise. Been there, done that. Got 8 stitches in his scalp. He pulled out his cell phone and punched in 911, and then went to close the spilled bottle of nail polish remover which had rolled into the hallway, and to wipe up its contents and contemplate the mess it had made of the varnish on the hardwood floor. The man sitting on the ugly plastic chair was unremarkable in appearance. Youngish, maybe late 30s or early 40s. Shaggy black hair and dressed in jeans, tattered white button-down shirt, and a bomber jacket, both of which seemed a size too large. He could have been Middle Eastern, or not. Mediterranean, certainly. He had been seated for several hours in the corner on the row of chairs toward the rear of the waiting area. No one could recall how long or even when he had come in. Urgent C, the urgent care facility on Picketsville's main street, did not offer the drama-filled weekends associated with big city hospital emergency rooms. No ER here, no frenetic arrival of ambulances, drop-dead gorgeous nurses in scrubs and high heels, just the usual small-town, occasional semi-emergencies. But once in a while it did become crowded. A nearby automobile accident could create some excitement until the injured could be moved to Lexington and its hospital. On this particular Friday it had become unusually busy, due in part to a sudden rash of intestinal influenza cases, which seemed to affect small children in particular. Under 6, after 6, Jerry Stempick, the center's director, said when he surveyed the bawling kids and looked at his watch. Added to this mini-epidemic was the fact that in the past several years the town's senior medical practitioners, it seemed, had retired to condos at Hilton Head or Palm Beach to be replaced with for-profit clinics, irreverently dubbed Docs in a Box, and staffed by young health-care professionals who preferred to keep strict office hours and not work outside them, either the hours or their clinics. As a consequence, the urgent care facility would begin to fill after 5 in the evening and would see patients off and on until midnight. This evening it had begun to fill around 6:30 with the sick children. Shortly after 7, a troop of Boy Scouts, who had all shared a meal consisting of tuna surprise and egg salad, both prepared by their bachelor assistant scoutmaster earlier in the day, arrived to augment the smaller children. All the scouts needed to be dosed with compazine and fluids. They created a considerable distracting hubbub as vomiting children competed with wailing tykes for the staff's attention. Soon the waiting and examining rooms filled to overflowing with sick kids, anxious parents, keening, unpleasant odors, and harried caregivers. No one had noticed when or how the man had entered. The nursing staff and the physician's assistant on duty assumed he must either have been a parent of one of the scouts or flu victims, or have a minor complaint that the triage nurse had deemed